She is an ex-Muslim turned Christian evangelist who has been beaten, chased by mobs, unlawfully jailed, and even stabbed.
And someone call ambulance. Somebody call the ambulance.
All for the sake of the gospel. This is not Afghanistan or Saudi Arabia, however, it is officially Christian Britain.
I mean, like, the first thing I find quite interesting about this is that this is obviously like an American TV, like Christian broadcasting network. And I've not seen this anywhere else. I even like searched it up in Google and like it wasn't really anywhere to be seen.
Maybe it's been banned.
And it's huge.
That's crazy.
Whereas like, I feel like if this was any other community, it'd be like highlighted much more. Like, I'll be like pushing media much more, which is like quite telling.
Well, ultimately, if you put yourself in Sky News, like this is for the UK, by the way. For the UK, we've got Sky News, BBC News, like the main two networks. If they were to report on this, it'd be Islamophobic. That's what they'd say, probably, because it's portraying that community in a bad light. Because ultimately, there's people of that community. Not saying that represents the whole community, but it's members of that community that are trying to kill this person, trying to punish them and assault her, just for having an opinion that's contrary to theirs. But sadly, the way that the media is now, they won't report that because they're probably afraid of the backlash, or they don't want to paint this sort of story.
Her name is Hatun Tash, and what's been done to her has even caught the attention of the British media. Hatun Tash grew up as a Muslim in Turkey and became a Christian after arriving in Great Britain. And as an ex-Muslim speaking out against Islam, she's become a target. Tash told us she's changed residences more than 50 times in the past 4 years because
She's moved house 50 times. It's crazy.
4 years. That's basically a move every month. Like, you move it every month. You know, if that was someone else, like, surely someone would step in and like do something about it, like just get some sort of help.
She must have people around her that are like helping her out, but still.
Yeah, that's the importance of like a good church community as well.
Yeah.
she knows Muslims are looking for her in order to kill her. One man has already been sentenced to 24 years in prison for trying. Because of this ongoing danger, she asked that we interview her from a secret location. Tash told us her conversion to Christ began when she learned the truth about Islam and Muhammad.
As I read his biography, it was very disturbing to me. So the man you grew up to love and honor suddenly turns up to be like, yeah, not good at all. And decided, yep, I can't be Muslim.
So it's quite interesting. Just from that, like, she seems like she's quite emotional, like, talking about it. So just from like the brief analysis, like, she must have been like quite deep in it. She's obviously committed a portion of her life to something, and then realised that it's not the truth. But you must be quite like fair play to her. And obviously, like, I imagine her family and a lot of that would also. So it's not just turning away from their dreams, she's turning away from the family, she's turning away from like everything.
She's made a big sacrifice.
Huge.
And she's paying for it, but she's doing it anyway.
Yeah, which is like so challenging to just normal people, normal Christians, or normal just like other Christians like us. It's just so like, easily accepted. Like, what are you gonna get? Like mean tweets, you know? Come as like Kyle, just like don't like take the piss, like grow up, man. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is the reality for other people.
Then she learned about a very different God than the one of Islam.
As you dig into it, you get to meet with a God who is not silent or far or distant from you, but you meet with a God who concerns for you, who loves you, he pours out himself on you. And not only that, he just puts himself on the cross and then says, I love you from everlasting to everlasting, repent and come to me.
You know what, from our conversation, what she just said there, do you know what stuck with me was how personal she made God in that moment. Because the main difference between Islam and Christianity is the personal relationship. Yeah, it's the personal relationship between us and Jesus, God. So that's clearly something that has been like a big revelation for her, and that's something that just stuck with me there.
Yeah, nah, I really get that. And I think people don't really can't really grasp that. A lot of people don't even know that. Like, the amount of people who don't even. Well, I guess if you never know it, or you never, like, why would you know?
Yeah, well, Islam and other religions are religious, so you do X, Y, Z because that's what it says in this book, and you have to do things through works to get closer to God. Whereas with Christianity, when Jesus died on the cross, he cuts through all of that and creates relationship or space for relationship with us. So that's a complete polar opposite thing as all other religions. And that truth and realities had this impact on him.
Sharing this message to Muslims at Speaker's Corner in London's Hyde Park, where speakers climb atop benches and ladders and where vigorous debates ensue, often between Muslims and Christians. Her criticism of Islam has sometimes enraged Muslims, and 3 years ago a man slashed her face with a knife. He was never caught. She, however, has been arrested unlawfully more than once. The London police have twice paid her damages for wrongful arrest, including 2 years ago, when she refused to leave the area where she was preaching. Tash was forcibly marched through Hyde Park, followed by Muslims celebrating her arrest. She was placed in a police van, strip-searched, and jailed. This has not stopped Tash from going to mosque and sharing the gospel.
How wild is that? Like, oh yeah, we're gonna, like you said earlier, let's take it from like the police point of view. It's easier to extract one person from it because obviously it looks like there's way more. She's not mental against her. Like the way they're doing it, obviously saying they're not there to try and keep her out of harm's way. They're like, they don't like they're doing much help. Just strip search her for what?
Normally,
Like what?
yeah,
what
that's
they're doing.
crazy. That is just wild. She's not. What crime is she committing?
Yeah.
Speech? Nah, surely not. But is that what they're using? Like, what is it that? What's the crime that they're at?
So they're not hate speech against her then?
Exactly.
Like, where's the line?
That's the claim people make about two-tier policing, where there's one standard for the one group, one standard for the other. But ultimately, I think when there's two polar groups in a protest situation, like for example the Gaza and the Jewish people, and when there's a protest for that, they're in line of policemen that create space between the two. And that's, I think, the way they normally manage a protest is that they create like a zone for each of them.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Which you'd think they would do here.
Instead of just taking her out.
Yeah. But why do they have to arrest her? I think that's the step that's like extreme.
Yeah. How are you going to arrest her?
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with taking her out of the situation because like that's their job to keep people out of harm's way. But to arrest her for what? Like what grounds are you arresting her on?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It makes me worried about what we can and can't say. Like, it's just ridiculous. Like, if I was to go to London, or you were to go to London, or one of our friends, and simply have conversations with someone who disagrees with us, they can then call the police and arrest you
Yeah.
just for having a view.
It's just
Crazy,
crazy.
man.
They marched through Hyde Park, followed by Muslims celebrating her arrest. She was placed in a police van, strip-searched, and jailed. This has not stopped Tash from going to mosque and sharing the gospel daily.
I would simply stand in front of the mosques and I say, Muhammad is false prophet, Jesus Christ is the son of God. Tell me what is your objections. Hundreds of Muslims just stops and then they want to talk to you. Sometimes you get harmed, sometimes it gets dangerous. Sometimes you end up in hospitals. Sometimes you end up in people's house for a cup of tea. It's all very different. So I don't care. But
Yeah. I like that she added the cup of tea bit.
It humanizes everyone. Like,
Yeah.
not just a big bad wolf. Like, people want to learn. People want to have a civilized conversation as well.
I'm sure there's Muslim people that will invite her around and just have a chat.
Yeah, 100%.
Not all of them are going to be punching her and trying to kill her. But yeah, I think if you resort to that, you clearly lost the argument.
It's kind of a shame from like their point of view as well, because it sheds like such a like you're painting the brush over all of them, like a lot of people would.
Yeah.
So looking at it from both point of views. So like,
Well, that sort of thing just harms their reputation.
yeah, it's not you're not helping anyone. I just don't understand it, and then to stand on that as like, oh yeah, that's my religion.
Yeah. There's already decades and decades worth of wars that were fought over religion and over terrorist groups of that religion. So that to break that stereotype, you'd want to stop that sort of thing. It just, for those people that aren't like that, it just ruins their reputation and makes it of us as well.
whether people reject me or not, they need to hear the gospel. They need to accept or reject Jesus.
Christian Concerns Christian Legal Center has defended Tash.
The trick is that her Those that have attempted to kill her have been caught on camera. The police know who they are. They've not been arrested. She is feared and targeted by Muslim groups because she is fearless for the gospel. She loves Jesus so much, but nothing will halt her.
And Tash told us she'll continue to preach and continue to challenge Islam.
Things are dangerous. Should I choose to stay silent? Like when people are spending £5,000 to buy a gun to shoot you and shoot your loved ones. Gospel is so glorious, it cannot be silent. Lord is the giver of life. So when it's my time, he will take me home. But until he gives me breath, we continue to preach.
Dale Hurd, CBN News, London.
That challenged me so much because it puts into practice the literal laying down of your life, like you said, to the gospel. And like recently, I've been like looking a lot about how all the disciples died, and like it's horrific. Like they're all tortured. Like and then you look at people like her, and it's like that's what it means, like to lay your life down. And like people in other countries where it's not, you can't just freely be a Christian in other countries. And that's what it means to like lay your life down. And I was thinking of like if like I was like guns to my head, right? I was driving home the other day and I thought this, and it's like, could you 100% wholeheartedly say you would not deny God? And like I was sat in the car and I was like, I don't know. I was like, I'm like 100% want to be like, yeah, 100%. I would not deny that. Like that's what I want to say. But like it felt like God was challenging me in a way. Like
Would you?
That's what I mean. I don't know. I want to say yes. I want to say yeah. I definitely wouldn't. But like the more I think about it, the more I'm like, yeah, I definitely wouldn't. But like in that moment when I felt challenged, it was like, do you know what? I don't know. I never would. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's quite challenging when you hear stories like this and you're like, wow, that's inspiring.
Well, fair play for you saying that. I mean, like, a lot of people will say, oh yeah, of course I would lay my life down. But then when it comes to it, like no one knows. It's like whenever there's a time in your life where all of a sudden like stuff hits the fan and you're like, oh, and it's like a high pressure situation, and you don't have to make a big decision. If there's a gun to your head and it's like, if you deny Jesus, you're gonna live. If you don't, I'm gonna kill you. And what do you do then? Who knows?
That's what I mean. I feel like people don't know, and I feel like saying yes, I definitely wouldn't. Fair play if you genuinely believe that. But I think it can diminish like people. This is people's reality, and like I feel like that needs to be honoured in a way, like fair play. You're like crazy. That's what it means to us, and it kind of puts the seriousness and a way back into a religion that's not a religion, into like a, you know what I'm saying, like the relationship with God. Like it really puts that into practice instead of like the Western watered down version of put your hand up, repent of your sins. Oh, it's all sweet. You know what I mean? Like, where's the follow up?
No, it's a full transformation of your life, the full transformation of your heart towards people and to things of life, and then laying your life down. Those are the intense things. It's not intense, the transformational of your life that sometimes I think in the Western world we don't focus on because we're intimidated by it, or it's too much of a big ask. It's like, oh, I've got to change my whole life. Like, I don't really want to do that. I want to change maybe 60%, 70%, 80%.
Yeah.
But even for those people that are like all in, well, I would say you're all in. Like, I feel like you're all in and you're admitting that.
Yeah, 100%. And that's fair play to you for this. That's what I mean. That I still like, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, probably, I want to say I wouldn't, like in that moment. And it like felt like being challenged by God. I was like, I don't know. Even though I'm like, well, I don't know. I'm not in that scenario. I can't say yes. I would or I wouldn't. Who knows? Like you said, who knows? But like that really challenged me because it was more like that's what it means. Like, that's what it really means. Like to believe in like what we've got daily. Like God did it for us in the most horrific way. But we get mad about mean tweets and like comments and like someone might take the piss at work. Do you know what I mean? Like them kind of things. And it's like, wow, really puts it into perspective.
Yeah. Well, we're caring about that. This woman's getting death threats and assaulted in strip shirts, and yeah, it's crazy. Ultimately, like if you're asking me, I would say, yeah, I would lay my life down. I can't say it with 1,000% certainty,
Yeah.
But that's the answer I would like to give if that happened. Because ultimately, as a Christian, our lives on earth are like a middle point where when we die, we go to heaven for eternity. So this is like a middle ground.
Yeah.
And so if you view it like that, it has a different perspective on it. I think I have a slightly different perspective on it when I think of it like that.
Yeah, when you put it in that perspective, I hear that.
But it's still crazy. And massive fair play for this. And I mean, there's the two angles of this video. There's the Christian angle of laying down your life, and then there's the angle of the way that the media is reporting on this.
Or not reporting.
Yeah.
Much like,
I mean,
crazy.
it is a Christian network, so they're always going to prioritize Christian content, I imagine. But still, the story, the death, like the assaulting, and the way that it would potentially paint Islam is negative. So you got to ask yourself, why aren't they showing that? Are they trying to protect Islam? That I don't. Yeah.
One of them, who knows? Yeah. It'd be interesting to see what other people think.
Yeah.
I think just as like land the plane, like applaud what she's doing and just hope that she's got like the network around her to kind of keep her out of harm's way as much as possible.
Yeah, man.
Continue what she's doing.
Yeah.
Like we said, you got a lot to add.
Nah. I hope you enjoyed the video.
And we'll catch you on the next one.
Peace.